here in Toluca area, and our business, well, real estate portfolio crossed over 7 figures um, yesterday, right? And we started 6 months ago, didn't have almost any money, no private investors, no raising capital, and I want to give kind of a list of like the biggest regrets that I would say I have that have nothing to do with anything financially. And I know, obviously, well, not necessarily regrets, but I would say mistakes, right? Because obviously you can't regret things for an extended period of time. But I would say the biggest mistakes that I've made is that not cherishing people enough. And what I mean by this is that although I was doing well, I was doing my thing, I was in a position where I wasn't really being where my feet were. And that's something that I wish I could advocate to absolutely everybody watching this, no matter how well you're doing, whether you're just starting out or you're in a position where you're actually doing very well for yourself, is if you are where your feet are, it's going to make your life so much better. And alongside that, you're going to cherish those moments a lot more. I was in a position where I was just like work. And, when I was somewhere like here, for example, when I was over there, when I came back, when I was in Mexico City 6 months ago, before we even had our first property, that's all I was doing. Like, I wasn't even focused on being present. Right now, I'm still fighting the same battle, but I'm trying to be a lot less. Like, I'm not trying to respond to my phone as much, although it's kind of inevitable because of my business. But if you're just where your feet are, I would say that's probably the biggest mistake that I made. And not only that, when I was younger, probably around maybe 6 years ago, I would say right around 6 years ago, my grandfather, who was the person that is the reason I do all of this shit, right? In regards to motivation, work ethic, morals, all the above, right? The manager of a reputation. I didn't really spend as much time with him because I was just like me. I was just being a fool, bro. Like I was BSing. I was over here playing video games, like everything. Not realizing that like the people you look up to that you think are invincible are here for they're not here forever, right? And that was probably one of my biggest mistakes because I always saw him as invincible. So once he started to decline, and it declined very rapidly, I regretted not spending more time while I had it, right? Because if I could go back in time, that's what I would do. Ask more questions about, XYZ, more questions about him, ask for advice about certain things, because obviously he was older, so there's wisdom, but not only in terms of the amount of life that he lived, there's also the duration of the time that he did live in, right? He was in a position where this guy was living during multiple, not even necessarily war crises, but monumental things, right? He lived through World War II, he saw Vietnam, he saw Pearl Harbor, he saw everything. The ends of the First World War, Great Depression, everything. And to get firsthand experience from that, firsthand, I would guess stories from that, probably would have changed the trajectory of how I look at things completely in so many different ways, right? And that's something I regret to probably the fullest. Got cut off by my uncles over there, but I just want to give the rest of the things. So yeah, at the closest property, and like I said, those realizations. The other one, with the one being with my grandfather, I think the second one would be, I used to have a lot of hatred. So my hair's on this. I was laying down for my pops. I think that was a pro and a con, because it was a pro because I had this mindset that I'm gonna go and I'm gonna prove this person wrong, all of the above, right? And like that mindset of wanting to prove somebody wrong, do it for somebody else because you have this resentment towards them, it only lasts so long. The way I always depict it to other people is it's kind of like a firework, right? With a firework, you're in a position where it has a bunch of power right away, and then you're in a position where it dies out. And the reason why I mentioned that it's like that is just because you would go and get that spark of motivation, you push, you see results, you keep pushing, and then you get to a point where, for example, like me, closing on the 7th unit, $1 million portfolio, I don't do this shit for him anymore, like at all, because that was my push. I was like, fuck you, I'm gonna prove you wrong. And they don't even give a fuck. I don't even talk to them, And people come to me, oh yeah, you have rich parents, rich dad. Bro, I don't even talk to my fucking dad. Like I don't even remember the last time I chopped it up with them. So it's kind of embarrassing for those people that make themselves look so dumb, right? But I think having that mindset, like I don't prove somebody wrong, whether you're in a position where it's your dad, whether it's your mom, whether it's someone that fired you, anybody, girlfriend, it only lasts for so long, and you need to find something that's everlasting, whether it's peace within yourself, generational wealth for your future family, taking care of, like now one of my motivations, like my niece, newborn niece, is like making sure my sister's cool, so she can take care of her and be chilling. It's hard to do all that, but it's an end goal, and obviously it's everlasting. And then I would say another thing that was one of the biggest, not necessarily regrets, but lessons that I had was you need to test vet people to the max during the hardest things, because everybody is cool, everybody is good, everybody's happy, everybody's everything, and when things are good. When things are good, everybody's there. And the reason why I mention this is because even if somebody, say you go out to fucking dinner to lunch with them, right? And say you buy food once, right? And they're like, oh, bro, I got you next one. And the next one, they don't pull it out. And then the next one, they don't pull it out. You know that this person, I personally know this person's not going to be it. Or another thing is if someone doesn't sell you right away, if there's something like that. The other one that I would say is like when someone mentions that they're all in until it comes down to money, because everybody's cool, bro, everybody's solid until money gets involved. How someone is about money, depending, no matter the quantity, are people that you don't want to do business with. If someone's able to go and say, hey, you know what, I may cut into my bottom line a little bit here, or cut a little bit into my profits here, but let's make this thing happen so we can help each other out. That's someone you want to stay with, you want to work with, bro. But if someone is so nitpicky, even like, for example, this listing agent on the property that we closed on, that listing agent wanted to charge us $150 just flat fee, like us Zell him for every day that the property got extended, even though it was out of our control. I was like, I would never do business with that guy, even if it's a fucking listing. That guy was a fucking pain in the ass, right? The guy that was selling the property, because he had interest in the property. Maybe it's different if he doesn't have interest in the property, but even then, bro, like, what the fuck? You're tripping over $150 when you're gonna make $600,000 on the property, right? Because it was a flip. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? The other thing, like I said, with regards to partners, you have to see how somebody is and how they treat people that do not benefit them. Everybody is cool to people that do benefit them, even if it's in the smallest way. The way that people do not benefit them, the way that people treat others that do not benefit them is the way that they're going to treat you if everything goes wrong. You need to see how people are when things go wrong as well, right? If you're in a position where, say, your business has to lose money for a month or two, how are they? And also, if someone is stingy, there's a very big difference between someone that is conservative and someone that is stingy. If someone is in a position where they're stingy, I won't do business with them. I'm just being straight up, right? If they're conservative, I completely understand it, right? People have responsibilities, they have obligations, they have all of the above. But when it comes down to someone being in a position where they're very stingy, they don't treat people with respect that do not benefit them, and they're also not punctual, that's another thing. We've had people that hit us up all the time now that want to partner with me and Alex. I don't even give it the time of day, bro. I got all. I'll say, hey, you know what? I don't do partnerships, bro. I don't do partnerships. Because some people want to get shit from you. Like, they want to, this guy literally texted me, I don't want to put it on screen, but this guy literally texted me, hey, bro, I just saw one of your videos. I don't really know much about real estate, but I was hoping that we could partner on a deal, but I don't have money. What the fuck? What are we talking about, bro? Like, really? Because one of our homies wanted to do this whole thing with us, but then it just didn't work out, right? And the other thing I would say about things not working out, because it happens all the time, is just being able to not put the business out there unless something calls for it, like them trying to shame you or whatever, and you have to defend yourself. But being in a position where you're just like, hey, Lou, you know what? Things don't work out, and that's it. Because what I've realized is that my reputation, Alex's reputation, has got us so many more opportunities and got us so many more rewards than any sort of dollar amount. People that have more money than us have not done the shit that we've done because of the reputation that we have, the action that we take, and alongside that, the punctuality that we have and the speed. Because going from zero to $1 million portfolio in less than 6 months is not easy. Especially when you don't have rich parents, you're not raising capital, and alongside that, you don't have a ton of fucking money or the blueprint. You're figuring it out as you go. And having that reputation that you build over time doesn't pay you back right away. But the regret that I had was thinking that not necessarily the personal brand doesn't really do anything, but I always thought, like, okay, what can I be doing that's gonna make me money, right? But that's like the fast way of thinking of it. The long way to think about it is reputation. Saying, who can I help, who can I not help, who do I want to work with, who do I not want to work with. Building that personal brand, because I believe in the next 5 years, the biggest thing you're going to have as an asset is a personal brand. It's not going to be real estate, it's not going to be crypto, it's not going to be stocks, it's not going to be any of that, because the personal brand, no matter what industry you decide to pursue, whether you're in real estate and then you switch to going and selling glasses, you're in a position where that personal brand is going to follow you forever, and the positive experience you have with those people is going to pay you out regardless. So the regret that I had was thinking, okay, well, I just need to be money in, money out. And the problem with that is that you don't get different opportunities or rewards that comes with playing the long game in terms of the reputation, the customization of relationships, and alongside that, building the personal brand. Because we were just thinking, okay, how can I go and raise capital to buy this property and get cash flow? It's okay, well, how am I gonna, alongside that, build a personal brand about having the reputation of doing this, giving the transparency about how the Section 8 game is, giving the transparency of what work goes into it, and also the energy and time that needs to be allocated to it, which has got us more opportunities, got us more clients that I've helped with the consulting side, because Alex doesn't really help with it because he's doing his own thing, and being in a position where you're playing the long game, and but you're also moving with urgency and speed, which has allowed us to go from 0 to 7 figures in less than 6 months. So the regrets that I had was, one, not spending more time with people that has nothing to do with anything financially. Like I said, with grandfather, that's why right now I try to spend time with my uncles. I try to spend more time with my mom, with my niece, sometimes my little sister, even though I see her basically every day. Being more present, being where your feet are, it's an everlasting battle that I have. The second one would be having that ignition from something that wasn't positive, which was dead ass just the situation with my dad. I don't talk about it a lot on social, but it's being that kind of obviously lit the fire under my ass, because, like I said, no handouts, dude wouldn't pay child support, but cheating on my mom, all this shit, bro. And I had that everlasting hatred, and I was like, I'm gonna make it out of, the stereotypical, I would say, like deadbeat, son of a deadbeat dad type of thing, statistic. I'm gonna make it out of that. And I did. But now I'm in a position where it's like, now what? Now it's something where I have to find that greater purpose that's within, which I'm everlasting. That's everlasting and ever-changing, ever-changing. And it's an everlasting feeling that's always gonna fluctuate. But then I'm gonna say that, like I said, the third one is prioritizing the relationships. We keep working on the personal brand even if you don't see results, because it's going to pay off an asset, because people are always watching. They may not be supporting you right off the rip and telling you, but they actually might be supporting you. There may be people that act like supporting you, they're hating on you. Maybe people that are hating on you actively, but actually want to be like you, and they just can't get over that hump of accepting that someone's better than you. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's just moving correct, moving for the long term, not being fixated on money in, money out, and being in a position where you delay the gratification to a max, where you're allocating all of your funds to buying properties like this. Because what would you rather do? Go band for band and have 100 bands, or go fucking property for property and have 100 properties, right? And all those cars and all that shit, it's tight, bro. Like, it's cool. Like, I've been in those cars, it rips. It's a very, 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 very great feeling. The adrenaline rush, all the above. But what I realized is that eventually it gets to a point where it dies out. Like, when I went to my boys, Gio, we rented these cars, and we were just, filming content of them, just because we were in Miami, right? I'm not trying to say that we were like, we weren't trying to claim that we were high rollers. We were just saying, hey, we were having a good time. Like, obviously, you're not gonna buy a car if you're only there for fucking 3 days. So, and it was really fun. Like, it was real cool. But I realized I'd rather have the peace of mind having those assets, and also be recession-proof if anything goes to shit, with especially in regards of what's happening right now in the presidency and the administration that is currently running the U.S. But not fixating on money in, money out, the everlasting relationships, being in a position where you prioritize your reputation over everything, and being very careful who you work with, even if it's somebody that is in a position where you had an everlasting relationship with them, but then when money got involved, you were like, okay, I see how you move with fucking $100. I'm not gonna trust you with $10,000. Like, I'm not gonna move that way. So even if somebody does business, that you've done business with in some regard, you have to be very, very careful on these whole partnerships, bro. They can work very well. And me and my boy Alex, very well, move very fast, always transparent about everything. We've seen each other's bank accounts, everything, bro, because the transparency from the jump that this is what we're gonna do, boom, and move correct. You can move so much faster if you have a partnership or you have a team in place that has the same goal, but it has to be everything done from the jump. And you have to be able to screen people correctly on all regards. But I appreciate you guys watching. I know this is kind of a random video, but I've just been trying to have my YouTube channel be more of just documentation of my thoughts, because obviously on short form, not really anybody's gonna just sit there and watch you for fucking 5 minutes. So appreciate y'all watching. I'll probably keep ripping videos like this to Mexico, more authentic, but post it out here in Mex. Make sure to subscribe, share our post notifications, comment, like, the whole jazz. I appreciate y'all watching. Catch you on the flip.